Okay, in this video we'll be installing and configuring our Windows deployment services. What this service does is allows us to install software on several computers at once without having to go to each individual computers. This is done through the domain controller. So if you're in a computer lab, all you need to do is go to the domain controller and install software throughout all the other computers. So let's begin. First, we are going to go into our server manager, go to roles, going to add roles, now we go down to server roles, and we're looking for the Windows deployment services, so check that box, click next. Here they just tell you a little bit what Windows deployment services does, and as well as the requirements before you start setting up this Windows deployment service. So let's click next. We're going to make sure and take off both deployment server and transport server. See, they both have explanations right on the side here, but we want to click off both for this demonstration. Next, and we're going to install. Okay, now that the installation is finished, we can close off this. We're going to go into our administrative tools and go to Windows deployment services. So here we are in Windows deployment services. If I click on servers, here you see it's not they say status not configured, so that's what we're going to do now, configure it. So here Windows server.stefan.com domain. See, it's saying it's not yet configured, so let's configure it. So going to right click and choose configure server. Again, they're telling you the requirements before you continue. Click next. Okay, so we leave this profile path as it is. It will create this folder in our local disk. Click next. And here it is a warning saying that you should partition your local disk, but for this demonstration we won't do that, so let's click yes. And here we want to click off both these options here, because we do have a DHCP server online, well, up running right now. And here we're going to click for both known users and unknown users, even though it's not a very secure option. We just want to do it for both. I'm going to check off this box as well and click next. As you can see, the deployment services are starting. So for now, but we will be adding images soon. So let's click finish for now. So if we click on install, as you can see, there's none there, so we're gonna right click and go to add install image. But first we need to create an image group, so let's name this one Win7 install. And next, now we have to find the image. And we're gonna go in the sources file, and we're gonna choose this install Vim right here. There it is. We're gonna click next, and here are the different versions of our server that we'll be installing. So you want to tick off all of them, click next. We can select one. Let's just do standard. Images were added, so we click on finished. And next thing we want to do is go and do our boot images and load our boot images. So add boot image, very similar to what we just did. Again, go to browse, go into the same file we were in, but instead of install Vim, we'll choose boot Vim. Right, now we're finished with that, so you're gonna go to next. Right, there's simply just the image name and the description. You can change the description if you want, but we won't, so next. And next again. And wait for this to set up. Okay, now that the image has been added, we're gonna click finish. And now what we want to do is go. I created this Windows 7 virtual image here. So what you want to do is just make sure for the settings on the system, check the boot order and ensure that it's booting from the network. Make sure the network is at the top. Alright. So once you do that, you can power up your machine. So as we can see, they have the IP address of the server here, and it's saying downloaded Windows deployment services. So this tells you that the installation is taking place directly from our server computer. So there we have it, our Windows deployment service. Windows deployment service is functioning.